So the new season, season 6, is around the corner, guys, and as you can see, I'm already getting ready. I'm selling players, I'm making as much MT as I can, and I want to make sure that you guys are prepared as well. And of course, for level 40, we should be seeing a free 100 overall player. We should be seeing our first Invincible or GOATS card, and let's play a nice little game. Whoever can predict who the level 40 reward is going to be for season 6, or the Invincible or GOATS card, because I do feel like we're going to be seeing a new tier, I will give you the season pass. All you gotta do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and again, let me know who you think it's gonna be, because right now is the time to get ready. People always keep asking me, Carlos, how do you know? I've been playing 2K long enough. We're getting a new tier. They basically have done that all year, where we get, a new tier a week before the new season or for the new season, which, by the way, is going to be April 4th. And so write that down right now, okay? That's going to be season 6. It's going to be at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That is going to be, of course, the first day of the new season. Now, anytime from now up until the new season, 2K should be releasing a new tier, because that's basically what they've been doing all year. If you guys have been playing 2K, right before the new season, right here, season 3, we ended up getting Galaxy Opals. My boy Tatum was the first opal. Then we had, the other opals, Edwards. We had all these Galaxy Opals. And then after that, right before, season 4, we had the first Dark Matters, like Dark Matter Michael Jordan. We had some other Dark Matters, of course, with Shaq and everything. And then we went into the new season, right? And so now that we're going into another season, we should be seeing Invincibles. We should be seeing, either a GOATS card or Invincible, because, we did have the Dark Matters for season 4. And then, of course, season 5, don't forget. Going into season 5, we, of course, had 100 overall cards with Vince Carter. We eventually ended up getting KP, to start off season 5. So you can see, right? So that's why I'm saying for season 6, we're either getting an Invincible or a GOATS card. Now, the reason I say we might get a GOATS card is because, obviously, at the moment, with all the players in the game, we do already have GOATS Tatum. So last year, they kind of released GOATS players first and then Invincibles. And so it's really up in the air, right? Like right now, it could be a GOATS player next week, and then for season 6, it could be another GOATS player. It could be an Invincible, when it comes to, of course, maybe potentially the first player of season 6 or the week before, because again, they usually tend to drop the, new tier either the week before the new season or, of course, during the new season. So anytime from now until April 4th, that's when we should be seeing the first Invincible or GOATS card. And then, of course, you want to sell everything that you need, anything that you want to get. I did make a breakdown video on how to make a lot of MT right now, so, now's the best time to get ready. That's why I want to make this video, to make sure that you guys are ready. Now, when it comes to level 40 reward, I do believe that it is going to be a 100 overall card. It just makes sense. We have the Dark Matter already. Every, I think, every 2 seasons, they kind of change the tier, right? So we already had Dark Matters. We're going into a level 40, 100 overall. Now, my predictions for level 40, I feel like it's going to be somebody that's either up and coming or someone that's going to have a postseason, run. For example, like SGA. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him for level 40 for season 6. Maybe a Cade. I know we've already seen point guards for level 40, but 2K loves dropping level 40 point guards every year. They kind of drop, multiple of them. We could get an Anthony Edwards, maybe a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would be crazy. I feel like he could potentially be one of the first Invincibles as well. I just feel like KD this year has been really good. So I do feel like level 40 for sure is going to be, an SGA, Edwards, maybe a Jokic, maybe Tyrese, Cade type of player, just because that's usually what 2K does. They would never drop a 100 overall, LeBron James for level 40, even though that would be cool. So I could definitely see that obviously coming. And then when it comes to Invincibles, if they do Invincibles, it could be anybody. Even though Edwards is going to be kind of my prediction, I just feel like Edwards kind of makes sense. They'll probably make him a point guard / shooting guard, even though I'm hoping they do somebody bigger. And speaking of bigger guys, I do feel like Wemby is around the corner. I feel like he's going to be getting his, 100 overall card very soon, especially with Zach Edey. As soon as they drop Zach Edey, I just figure they're going to be dropping, Wemby. He's just around the corner. They could also drop Manu Bol. If you guys remember, we've had, some crazy Manu Bols in, previous 2Ks. I definitely do see Manu Bol coming out sooner than later. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the first Invincibles, just because he always tends to get a crazy card, so... just keep that in mind, okay, when it comes to the size, because a lot of people right now are going crazy over Zach Edey, but I do feel like Manu Bol, Wemby, they are around the corner. Somebody that I would love to see, 2K, if they find a way to bring back Kobe, I would love to see Kobe back in my team. I don't think it's going to happen, though, guys. I don't think 2K, I don't think so, man. It would be a nice surprise though for season 6 if they dropped Kobe, you know, an Invincible. Shout out to everybody on 2KDB, obviously making, you know, some beautiful cards right here. But we definitely are getting Invincibles or GOATs cards. Last year was a little weird because they did drop like GOAT cards first. You know, GOAT Larry Bird was the first one, then they dropped Invincibles. But that was like for Team USA. But I think they'll be doing things differently this year. You know, maybe an Invincible Ja Morant. Actually, now that I think about it, Ja Morant could potentially be the level 40 reward, you know, for next season. That could definitely happen. I don't think they're gonna pick like a short guy. You know, some people always think that like, oh, the first level 100 overall for level 40 is gonna be like a small player. They've been pretty consistent at making them pretty good for level 40s. You know, they want people buying the season pass, the pro pass, getting the level. So we should definitely get somebody bigger than like an Isaiah Thomas, right? You know, it could literally be anybody. Some people are also predicting it could be, you know, Jimmy Buckets. It would kind of make sense too. You know, Jimmy did get on the Warriors now, so when it comes to him, you know, I could definitely see him being maybe potentially level 40, 100 overall, or maybe one of the first Invincibles. Again, a big shout out to everybody on 2KDB making these beautiful cards. You know, last year we don't really talk about last year because last year was just you know, crazy, but we did get GOATs, Invincibles. You guys can see, we basically, this year, they just sped up everything. You know, Dark Matters, Opals, like, we've just been getting everything earlier and earlier and earlier. And with Tatum already being out, it's going to be interesting because Tatum doesn't have every Legend badge. So I do wonder if they're going to have potentially, you know, end games eventually. I don't think so. I think they're going to just do Invincibles and GOAT cards, but obviously with 2K, anything can happen. But obviously with Tatum already running around, you know, I feel like there's about like 10 people that have Tatum so far this year. You know, the first one became available a while back. I did make a video on the first person or one of the first people to get him. So with GOAT Tatum already being, you know, in the game, 2K could definitely do what they did, you know, previously for 2K24 where they dropped GOAT's players in packs first. And then they dropped Invincibles because they did that, of course, with Larry Bird. Even though last year the pacing was definitely different, like this year it's just so much faster. So I don't want to base it off of, you know, last year because last year was, you know, no auction houses, the player markets. But you can see, we started with Larry Bird, you know, right here, and then eventually we got Invincibles. It was like way later. It was weird. They dropped GOAT cards first, so there's definitely a chance that they could drop GOAT players, you know, before Invincibles, but I do feel like they're going to do Invincibles first this time around and then GOATs cards. Because up until 2K24, that's how they would do it, right? They would drop an Invincible and then GOAT cards. It's just that last year it was different. You know, they dropped the whole, you know, Team USA, which I don't think it's going to be Team USA players this time around. I think it's just going to end up being, you know, your traditional Invincibles that we've seen throughout 2K. And like I said, right now is just the best time. Like, if you can go through your collection, you know, you can do the method that I covered in the previous video, you know, get as much MT as you can. I have 8.2 million right now. I'm actually in the process of course, selling the players that I showed you guys. I still got a couple of players I got to sell too. You know, I kind of held on to these a little, you know, just to see how the market was going to be. And obviously with the events, it's been getting a little crazier. So I definitely still got to sell these players. And I feel like everybody should know what's going on because people always ask me, like, how do you always know everything that's coming, etc. I've been playing 2K long enough to know. So Season 6, April 4th, guys. Level 40, 100 overall should be getting Invincible GOAT players. Let me know what you want to see and stay tuned for more. In the meantime, check out the MT method, check out the pack opening. And as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.